It would seem it is finally time to make way into the deep underground world known as the catacombs. But in order to make the trip simpler, in order to make the trip easier, we will have to make use of the divine ember we found down in Darkroot Garden. So in between videos, I went ahead and got me a Divine Bastard Sword plus 5. And in order to achieve this, you'll have to have already turned in your Divine Ember.
Well, hello again. You seem to be doing all right. Need anything forged?
You would need to have leveled a weapon to at least plus 5. Allow me to demonstrate. I'll use the broadsword, since you can buy these from Andre anyway. You will reinforce it to plus 5, then you modify your equipment, then you space over twice and find your item. And then you choose to ascend to a divine broadsword. And from there, you reinforce once again. And the highest level we can reach is plus 5 at this time. Later, we'll be able to go higher, but we'll need a special ember for that.
Don't get yourself killed. Neither of us want to see you go hollow.
So, I am going to make my way back up to Firelink Shrine. We have to meet some new faces and then venture into the catacombs. See you there.
I am Petrus of Thoroland. Oh, I know. How about this? I have to await my companions here anyway. My companions are Milady and her young knights. She is young, but burdened by an undead mission. We are her defenses, to keep her from harm. An undead mission? Regrettably, I cannot share that with you. But you are my pupil. Perhaps if you show your faith. Very well. I can surely tell you, of all people, undead clerics are given a mission to seek kindling. Kindling is the art of feeding bonfires with humanity. Through kindling, we shall one day be granted magnificent powers.
Did you see her? That virtuous little maiden, complete with followers in tow. They're probably going straight to pillage graves. I've heard enough about the lady for a lifetime.
So we have made our way back to Firelink Shrine. We are resting at the bonfire in order to, let's bump up our level a little bit. Let's go with some vitality to get the health upgrade. And that's pretty much all I can do right now. So, the new faces in town, so to speak, are right over here by Sir Petrus of Thoroland. So let's go ahead and meet these new faces, shall we?
What have we here? You look awfully raggedy. Times are grim. The least you can do is look sharp. Don't you dare meet my lady like that. You might scare her off for good.
So these are the cleric friends that Petrus is waiting for.
Oh, you again. What business have you? I don't suppose we can help, though. We accompany my lady on her righteous mission. It is quite a chore, but I'm stuck with her, and Nico too. I can't very well abandon them now.
So they're on their cleric mission. Unbeknownst to them, we already know what that mission is. So this would be Sir Nico? Not much to speak about, really, on that one. But what about Maiden Thoroland? Does she have anything to speak about?
You are undead as well. Then we've no time to fraternize. I have my mission and you no doubt have yours. We must not let this curse overcome us.
It would seem she knows that the way of the world is to pursue an undead mission, and that the idea that we're held down by a curse.
Did I not explain the urgency of our tasks? Or are you so uncouth as to lack such judgment? By the looks of you, I should think not.
She doesn't want to have any kind of companionship other than the ones she already has. If you speak with Sir Petrus, that will prompt the righteous clerics to leave, and we're not ready for them to do that yet. Let's go down into the catacombs and see what dangers await them and us alike. But of course, before we make that move, we're going to go ahead and equip our divine bastard sword. Got a slow roll, but as long as we got protection, we should be good. So we touched on this area early in the playthrough, but we really didn't venture too far. That's because these skeletons are very dangerous. And there's a lot more where that came from. So why don't we go ahead and stop wasting time and get down there and handle some business. So, let's go. The catacombs can be a dangerous area at earlier levels, like where we are, but there's a couple of pieces of equipment I wish to pick up now to make the later game more fun or easier. So, you don't necessarily have to have a divine weapon for this, but a divine weapon makes traversing this ugly, hideous place a lot easier. For example, I'm going to slay this skeleton. There you have it. The skeleton has been slain. Hold on. But if you use a regular weapon, the skeleton will reassemble. The only way to beat them and keep them down for good, well, there's a couple of ways. Way number one is to obviously use a divine weapon. And way number two is to sever their link from the necromancer that gives them the power to rise again. They can parry you. That's the parry stance right there. So be careful with that. They can't parry a jumping attack though. So down in this hallway, in this broken down wall, we will encounter our first necromancer. And be careful, they can be dangerous too, because they use fire attacks. And if you're lucky, they have a chance of dropping something called the Skull Lantern. The Skull Lantern is the primary reason why I've come down here. But the secondary reason is to meet a rather dubious character indeed. But we have to get through the necromancer and his skeleton friends. Since he already notices that I'm here, why don't we go ahead and end his life? Well, I need a short bow for this one. There's one right there. Oh. With our very under-leveled short bow. All right. So with that, we have taken down 2 necromancers. I believe there are 3 more in the area, so the divine weapon is still somewhat necessary. So what that means is, without a divine weapon, each time you slay... Oh man, that was some damage. You see that? Anytime you slay these skeletons, they're going to pursue you until you deal with the necromancer. And then some. Because even after you've taken care of the necromancer, they will still pursue until you slay them again. And until you've gotten rid of all of the necromancers, the pursuit will be endless. But worry not. They do a lot of damage, but they can be parried, they can be riposted, and they can be backstabbed. For what it's worth, that can make things somewhat easier. Somewhat. But of course, you have to get around their offense. Pick up Lucerne, that's a thrusting type weapon, and another scimitar. The fact that I'm alive and I have 5 humanity raises our item discovery, so what that means is I have a greater chance of finding that skull lantern. And if I don't find it, then oh well. I'm getting a lot of scimitars though, how about that? It's best to take these guys on one at a time if you can. Because they can quickly overwhelm. Not only that, but they do drop soft humanity, which means I now have 7 humanity. If you didn't take out the necromancer when it was down there, it would run up this path and end up in this area here. And if you didn't notice, I took out this skeleton that was hiding behind this wall. So you'd have an archer, a necromancer, and a skeleton all to deal with. And if you have a regular weapon, you'd have the other skeletons following you as well, which can get pretty bad pretty quickly. So these guys, you can't physically touch them, but they can destroy you if you get too close. Their main goal is to blow up with you right next to them. Like this. And I believe it's magic damage, so you can't block it. So it's just best to run up and then run back. Oh, I forgot about this one. Uh-oh. There you go. Alright. Radical. So, now that we've come over here, it may seem like a dead end, but it gives you some insights. And first of all, you get this soul of a proud knight, and you see this bald guy standing over here. Not only that, if you're clever, you can see this bonfire back here. Not only that, but since our way forward is blocked by that upturned bridge, we're going to push the lever and gain a way forward. Man, those things. So there is another necromancer across this bridge. So my recommended way of taking on this spot is aggroing these skeletons and coming back in here while the necromancer shoots, because you don't want to fight them and defend against that magic fire, because that fire is deadly. Getting a lot of scimitars. They'll come in handy later. Gotta get this other guy out the way. I can't see what that necromancer's doing. Uh-huh. Alright, so now it's me versus the necromancer. He's just standing there. There you go. Still no drop. I have about 1 or 2 chances left to try. Take a little detour. And if you care about it, this area has some crystal lizards with some good material. I'm not worried about it now. I just want to get out of here. Because each one of these statues has a deadly secret. You can hear the sound of a waterfall and rushing water. And if you look closely, you can see water coming through the wall here. Not only that, but a way back to where we once were. Oh. But since we, oh my gosh. But since we investigated that little detour, why don't we press forward and see what else we can find? So look into these alcoves because they're going to have some surprises in them. This one has an item, but if you get too close to that statue, it's going to try to impale you. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that. Got some skeletons to deal with here. Aha! So you decided to come up here, did you? How about this? Alright. And so we go into this hole here because our way forward, yet again, is blocked. But the fix to that isn't too far away. It ain't in here. Oh. It's not in here either, as a matter of fact. The switch is not in here, is it? Well, we got some nonsense to deal with. Uh-oh. Our health is getting dangerously low here, and so is our stamina, so we're about to be in some serious trouble. Because if you get hit when your stamina's empty, that you can take some massive, nasty damage. Soul of a Proud Knight. Ouch. Ah, something died over there. Okay, so if we go down here, but not all the way, just halfway, we got this moron to deal with. And another necromancer, I believe, is in here. Oh, well, I guess not. Alright, and that should unlock our way forward. So this door or stone edifice is out of the way, and now we can progress on. Get that out of my way. Ordinarily, I didn't look at it, but this bridge was upturned for some strange reason. Now it's flat, and now we have a way to progress. But first, let's investigate this area over here. So we have come to meet and stare down the man that we saw behind the wall. So let's go ahead and chat him up.
Good day. You look reasonably sane. What are you doing in the catacombs? Are you a cleric or something?
So, he does not really appreciate clerics, so we're going to answer no.
No? Well, that's strange. Oh, I know what it is. You've come for the trinkets, haven't you? Well, whatever it is. This place is treacherous. Do you watch your step?
So this dude is not very fond of clerics.
No? Oh, I know. Well,
This guy would lead you to believe he's trustworthy, and he's a treasure hunter. But let's solve the mystery of the hidden bonfire. And here it is. So as with the undead berg, resting at this bonfire where we spawn the enemies, not the necromancers, just the skeletons. And it won't restore up to 10 Estus unless you kindle the bonfire. We're going to take the chance of not resting at it in favor of progressing forward and possibly having a shortcut out of here. So, now we can cross the bridge, right? But be careful, because that guy will flip the switch on you and make it even harder for you to progress. But if you're clever about it, you can dodge roll off and into this little alcove where we've been before. And we can actually get back up to where that guy is and hear his explanation for as to why he tried to trick us or tried to kill us.
Oh, well, how are you then? I slipped and flipped that lever, you see. It didn't cause you any trouble, by chance?
Actually, it didn't, but we're gonna say, yeah, it did.
Are you certain? Well, that's a fine shame. I'm truly sorry. Really? But wait now. You didn't actually fall down then. Well, why didn't you tell me sooner? All's well that ends well. Everybody makes mistakes. I'm not above it all, I swear. I'm Trusty Patches, the one and only. I know. This should make up for it.
So he gives us a humanity in an attempt to make amends.
We're on the same side. Undead outcasts. Fantastic, isn't it?
So, he tried to screw us over, and he paid us off with humanity.
We're on the same side. Fantastic.
That's pretty much all he's got to say. Let's go ahead and push the lever. You don't have to worry about him doing that again. He only does it once, I believe. So now, we can get across this bridge and see what it is that awaits us. And it turns out it's more darkness and skeletons. Lots of skeletons. I hear a necromancer. There is a necromancer near us, so why don't we go and take care of him? So, if you go through this wall, it's going to get mighty dangerous. But we've already had enough danger. Why not a little more? Got to be careful here because there are archers up there. Oh man, he got me. And then when you come in here, you got one of those big skeletons to deal with. This dude is, man. If you think those small ones do damage, this guy, oh. Look at that. Wow, how'd he miss me? Not complaining. Aha! The Dark Moon Seance Ring. That'll come into play later, but right now it's irrelevant. So, we're in the darkness in the catacombs trying to find a skull lantern. And I have one more chance to get it. Well, I have two more, but we're only going to take one more for now. So we got to get rid of this guy. And just like that, we got nothing. So much for our trouble. But anyway. So, we've met with this Trusty Patches, one who tried to murder us. And we did not achieve the goal that we came here for. Ah, well. I'm sure there's something else that can make up for it, right? Tranquil Walk of Peace. If you're not familiar, this is the miracle that was cast by the stone giants in Darkroot Garden. And now we're back at the beginning. Since we no longer need to be here and we did not get what I came here for, that's fine. We're going to take our leave and make our way back up to Firelink Shrine. Way back up to Firelink Shrine. And since I didn't rest at the bonfire, it should be a peaceful stroll. Not only that, but since the necromancers have been taken care of, you can start using a regular weapon now. There is one that is still alive, but I don't think his radius is good enough to reach where we are. Alright, join the party then. Shouldn't have come down here. Okay, so the way out. We're almost there. Come on, dude. There you go. Let's get this guy before those guys notice me. It's probably just another scimitar, and I got plenty. So I'm just gonna go on ahead and not worry about it. So we are back in Firelink Shrine, but we're not out of the woods yet because we still gotta progress or get through this deadly graveyard. Oh. Alright, so now that we're plenty strong enough, let's say we try to get the binoculars that we missed. Oh man. Oh, okay. Alright. Nice. Oh, a falchion. So we missed this item earlier intentionally because I didn't want to risk it. But now we have the binoculars. And since we're here, we know the way back to Firelink Shrine. We don't need to fight. We're just gonna go. So now that we've made our way back to Firelink Shrine and we are safe, let's go ahead and get a few more dialogues from some of the people around Firelink Shrine.
Well, where have you been? I'm glad to see you're safe. Have you heard of Trusty Patches? If ever a man has rubbed me up the wrong way, if he ever comes around again, I swear I'll have his hide.
So now let's go and see what the clerics have to say. Now that we've ventured into the catacombs, we know that their task is arduous indeed, just like ours.
Oh, you yet again. You're a persistent one, aren't you? Honestly, I don't have a problem with your kind, but there's not very much that I can do. I'm Vince of Thorolon. Let's say a word, for our safety. A prayer to our marvelous Lord, Reria Nox.
Reria Nox, and what he means by my kind is probably non-cleric undead. I'm not too sure because they're undead as well, because they wouldn't be here if they weren't. And I know that because the Seeking Kindling is a undead mission, not a live mission. Now we can speak to Petrus and send them on their little way.
Oh, hello. My guests have finally arrived. I will be departing with them shortly. So, I'm afraid I will be saying goodbye soon. It was a pleasure.
So Petrus and his companions are gonna go seek kindling in the catacombs.
Oh, hello. Miracles, I presume? Yes, I know. Rhea is the youngest daughter of the good house of Thurland. Those young knights are her old schoolmates, but I'm not sure what to make of them. I'm afraid they may be a bad influence.
It's funny he should say something like that.
Rhea is the youngest, I'm afraid. Come again. The effectiveness of the teachings depend upon your faith.
So these two have known Rhea for a long time then.
Oh, it's you. We're to leave momentarily. The catacombs aren't exactly my idea of a good time, but what can one do? I do hope we meet again, rare or not.
We've actually given this young man something to look forward to, coming out of the catacombs and seeing a familiar face.
Did you see them? The 3 young clerics headed for the catacombs to seek kindling. Kindling is the art of feeding bonfires. The poor young girl sent down into a tomb. What a terrible mission she is burdened with.
So, Griggs of Venheim knows what kindling is. We had to pay for that information. That makes you wonder, is it common knowledge? If it is common knowledge, were we tricked by this cleric, this righteous man of Thurland? Or does Griggs have information he shouldn't have? This warrants an investigation. But not until next time. When next we meet, we venture back to the beginning of things. Back to where it all started. And until then, I have been your host and chosen undead Buck. And this has been DSR. See you later.